Welcome back to the crossover, the 11th of January, and I'm a little bit sick, a little bit under the weather, but these have been the wildest 24 hours in sports. Things are happening, things are moving, and I'm here to cover it all for you guys today. And we're going to go right into it with college football. And first and foremost, shout out Michigan. We haven't talked about it here on this channel, but I did call it. Pat on my back. Round of applause to Michigan. Congrats to them. But Nick Saban has retired. The face of college football, where players come and go. NIL, there's changes all over the place. Next year, we're getting 12 teams into the playoffs. And with the start of a new era, we get the end of a massive era with Nick Saban at the head of Alabama football. He turned that program into the program to beat professional teams saying, "We want Bama." Everybody saying, "We want Bama." Bama were the big bad dogs. And Nick Saban, the man who was at the head of all of it, has retired at age 72. Obviously, the face of college football. Like I said, greatest coach of all time in college football. 6 national champions in 17 seasons. 9 conference titles. The man can recruit from absolutely everywhere. We've seen recruitment videos. He's been opening a lot more up recently. And this was kind of... the rumblings were there. We kind of saw it coming. He was moving more towards a TV gig. But Nick Saban, round of applause. Everything that he did at Alabama is unprecedented. We will never see anybody like Nick Saban again. The way that he grew the sport of college football, everything he did for that program. Shout out to Nick Saban. Now for the future, I can see him being on a college game day. I could see him going into the NFL and coaching somewhere in the NFL. I could see him just sitting back on a couch and relaxing. All of that is still yet to be seen, but for now, we take a moment and appreciate everything that Nick Saban has done for college football, for Alabama, and the name that he has built for himself. Congratulations to Nick Saban. Can't wait to see what he does next. And the equivalent of Nick Saban, but in the NFL, Bill Belichick is out with the Patriots. He will no longer be the head coach for the New England Patriots, and this is a dynasty coming to an end. That marriage between Bill and Tom Brady, which took over the NFL. I mean, year after year after year, you just knew that the Patriots were going to be in the Super Bowl. I even wore my Boston t-shirt in order to just pay some tribute to Bill Belichick in New England. This comes to an end. I mean, he literally built the New England Patriots. He was GM and head coach at the same exact time. 24 seasons, 6 Super Bowls, 17 division titles. Now, obviously, as of late, the Patriots have been struggling. After Tom left, there was a little bit of, okay, let's see what Bill can do here. And it makes sense for the Patriots to let go of him. But nonetheless, Bill Belichick built the Patriots, obviously with Robert Kraft and everything else going on. But he was the GM. He was choosing everybody. So obviously the Patriots are now in need of a GM, in need of a head coach. And just to put this all into perspective, ever since Bill Belichick came in to be the head coach in the NFL, there have been 213 head coaches in the rest of the 31 teams. The rest of the 31 teams have had 213 different head coaches, while the Patriots, one man. It was Bill Belichick. And if you put in GMs that these other coaches have had, we're talking over 300 people in and out, hired and fired, that have gone through their career. And the one thing that stayed the same was Bill Belichick in New England. So shout out to him. Obviously, he gave me my best 2 memories of football. 2008 and 2012 when Eli Manning beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl. So thank you, Bill, for that. Funniest thing of the day, NBC New York, the way that they tweeted out that Bill Belichick, the way that they broke the news that Bill Belichick was out. Bill Belichick, who lost 2 Super Bowls to the New York Giants, is officially out. And I just love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it screams New York. I love the way that they put it. We kind of felt this coming. However, with Nick Saban, I feel like this could be the end of his coaching career. He did retire from college football, so like I said, maybe NFL. But Bill's going to keep going. Oh, you know Bill's going to keep going. Today in the press conference with Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, he said, I wish him the best of luck wherever he goes. It's going to be tough to see him being somewhere else. I wish him luck as long as they're not playing us. But Bill Belichick, let's talk about some potential teams here. The Cowboys. The Cowboys are in need desperately to win a Super Bowl. If Mike McCarthy does not win a Super Bowl this year with the Cowboys, I believe that Jerry Jones is going to do everything in his power to go get Bill Belichick to bring the best coach in the NFL of all time to the biggest franchise in the NFL. And that partnership right there, if Bill Belichick can go into Dallas and bring Jerry World their first Super Bowl in years upon years upon years, that would be a beautiful story there. Obviously, the Titans, I don't see this as a real possibility. However, they did just get rid of Vrabel. Same thing with Seattle. They did just get rid of Pete Carroll. However, I don't see those two. I could see the Giants maybe even trying to go after Bill Belichick. That's something I would be open to as a Giants fan. But again, where does Brian Daboll go from there? I think that the best opportunity for Bill Belichick is in Carolina. Carolina just recently got rid of their GM. They just got rid of their head coach. So obviously Bill can come in and kind of go into that same role that he had in New England, being in control of being the GM and of being the coach. Young quarterback. Maybe, can you imagine? Can you just imagine Bill Belichick goes down to Carolina 2 or 3 years, brings them to the Super Bowl, wins them their first Super Bowl? I mean, there's still a lot left to be seen with Bill Belichick. I just hope that he can beat the allegations of Tom made Bill and not Bill making Tom. Obviously, Tom went down to Tampa and proved somewhere else that he can do it. Now it's Bill's turn. Let's see what he can do with this. One that I was not expecting at all, and I don't think anybody was expecting, Pete Carroll, no longer with Seattle. 14 years, won a Super Bowl. Obviously, could have been 2 Super Bowls on the 1-yard line. Just hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. And you're probably saying that he's got 2 Super Bowls and Bill's only got 5. But nonetheless, I feel like another guy who, you think Alabama, you think Nick Saban. You think Patriots, you think Bill Belichick. You think Seattle, you think Pete Carroll. I mean, he's been there for so long. He's turned this program into what it is today. 72 years old, still got that juice. You see him taking his shirt off, the way that he can connect with the players. I honestly don't know why this came to an end. I don't know if anybody knows why it came to an end. It seemed like he had a great connection with his players. So this one was kind of confusing. Pete Carroll, it seems like he wants to go coach somewhere else as well. So those other teams that I talked about, maybe they bring in Pete Carroll, but obviously Pete Carroll's name doesn't carry the same amount of weight as Bill Belichick's, but that should be interesting to see as well. And then another surprise that made no sense to me was VRABEL getting fired in Tennessee. I mean, he took over in 2018, so he obviously hasn't been there as long as Pete Carroll, but this was kind of becoming synonymous. Titans, VRABEL. He won Coach of the Year back in 2021 with what he did with his team. I feel like he's always had a team that was a little bit lacking of talent, but he always played hard, always put his boys in the best position to go out and win a game. But it does seem like a new chapter is coming in Tennessee without Derrick Henry, now with Will Levis, no longer Tannehill. Tannehill came out and said, hey, I'm gone next year, doesn't matter what I do. So obviously Will Levis being the new quarterback there, he's going to need a new coach. They're hoping to pair Will Levis up with a coach that they can go on and build something a la Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. So let's see what he does there. But VRABEL is one of the guys that is now on the radar for being the head coach in New England. Obviously, he played in New England, won 3 Super Bowls in New England. The fans are calling for him. However, it does seem like Gerard Mayo is the guy that's next in line with the Patriots. So it should be interesting to see what happens with VRABEL. I mean, defensive coordinator with the Giants, I'll take it, please. Obviously, we just got rid of Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale left. Situation there that is kind of confusing for everybody. However, VRABEL going in there, I wouldn't mind it. And now, if Mike Tomlin gets fired, I might just not know what to do with myself. We're already going to look at college football without Saban next year. We're already going to look at the NFL with Carroll not being in Seattle and Bill not being in New England. Can you imagine Mike Tomlin also gets fired now in Pittsburgh? There has been some rumblings over it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, times are changing. I am growing up. I'm starting to realize that I'm damn old because all these guys that I started watching when I was little, guess what? They're no longer there. Now let's switch from football to football, where last night we had some crazy games last night. Madrid derby in Saudi Arabia. The semifinal for the Spanish Super Cup, where we saw 8 goals, and half of the 8 goals being scored by defenders. Atletico Madrid scored in the 6th minute. But it was a game you never thought Real Madrid was going to lose. Rudiger in the 20th scores. Mendy scores in the 29th. Griezmann in the 37th just to keep it close. We go into halftime. It's tied. There's chances going left and right, but nobody scores. Then Rudiger scores an own goal in the 78th minute. and we thought, uh-oh, maybe Atleti's going to be able to pull this off. But again, it just felt like one of those Real Madrid moments where they go down. They've got 12 minutes to equalize to try to force extra time. And then Dani Carvajal with an absolute rocket in the 85th minute. And then it even looked like they were going to score before going into extra time. Looked like Madrid had all that juice was coming out. It looked like another Madrid moment. They end up not being able to score. Atleti just trying to hold on for extra time. They ultimately got there. Then we get to extra time and we see Real Madrid back on the front foot trying to get that result before penalties. Atleti just playing for penalties. And in the 116th minute, Joselu, who's been much criticized even by myself. Not that I think he's a bad striker. I just don't think he's a striker at the Real Madrid caliber. Right place, right time. Gets his foot on the cross. The ball takes like an awkward bounce and ends up almost chipping. Oblak goes in. And it seemed like it was all over. But then Atletico Madrid have a corner late. Oblak comes up. The ball is bouncing around. There's chaos. What's going on? Is Atleti about to score? They don't score. Joselu with a beautiful pass all the way up the field. Oblak in a foot race with Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz beats Oblak. Puts it into the back of the net. Super happy for Brahim Diaz getting his goal there as well, because he had so many opportunities throughout the game. But now we know Real Madrid is in the final of the Spanish Super Cup, and they'll be facing either the winner of Barcelona or Osasuna, who's going to be playing later today. I'll give my prediction for that game at the end of the video. Now let's move over to England, where we had the first leg of the semis of the Carabao Cup between Liverpool and Fulham. And for 68 minutes, it looked like we were about to get a Middlesbrough versus Fulham final in the Carabao Cup. In the 19th minute, Willian squeezes a ball in between Van Dijk's legs. It gets past Kelleher, goes in. Liverpool starting a whole bunch of youngsters. Obviously, they've got some key pieces out. Also, it's a Carabao Cup, so Klopp trying to get these players a little bit more playing time. One thing I did like was the fact that Jota was playing. I spoke in the last video about how much I like Jota and how much I think Jota can provide to this Liverpool team. I also want him on form for Portugal when we get to the Euro. But the game kind of changed with the introduction of Gakpo and Darwin in the 68th minute. Curtis Jones just with an absolute rocket, but it takes a deflection off of a defender and it beats Leno, who to this point was having a game of his career. Leno was absolutely going off last night. 2 minutes later in the 70th minute, Jota wins the ball in the midfield. He brings it up the field, passes it down the line towards the end line to Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez pings a perfect pass across. Gakpo puts it in, and in 2 minutes, Fulham's dream comes crashing down as now Liverpool were up 2-1. Fulham's dreams come crashing down. Darwin in the 79th minute. Great header. Could have made it 3-1. End of the game right there. But Leno makes a spectacular save. In the 83rd minute, Darwin another great shot, but Leno's in the way again. In the 87th minute, another beautiful shot. Leno somehow gets to it with his feet. So Darwin Núñez, all the Darwin Núñez haters, you guys know, you see the Benfica scarf up here. I'm going to defend all of my Benfica boys till the death of me. I will not support any Darwin Núñez slander. But anyway, Liverpool just keeps on finding ways to win games, and they did it again last night. And now they're one step closer to their first final of the year. They've got Bournemouth next here on the weekend for the Premier League, and then in 2 weeks they will go to Fulham, where they will have to get a result as well, at least a tie to make it through. Chelsea on the other side, we obviously know that they lost to Middlesbrough, so they're in a little bit more of a tough situation. Could we see Liverpool versus Middlesbrough in a Carabao Cup final? It could happen. Can we see a Cinderella story from Middlesbrough? I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen. Chelsea have got Fulham at the weekend here for the Premier League. That's obviously going to be a tough game for them as well. Obviously, Fulham just put on a great performance against Liverpool. Can they duplicate that performance and maybe get the win against Chelsea? That would be massive for them. And then in 2 weeks, again, they receive Middlesbrough, but this time in London. So let's hope that Chelsea can figure that out just for the sake of having a little bit of a better final to watch between Liverpool and Chelsea. That final will be on February 25th, which is a Sunday. Now let's move over to Italy, where we saw a wild game between Lazio and Roma, where we had more red cards for than goals, which was just 1 goal. Roma themselves had more red cards, 3 than shots on goal, only 2. Of course, Mourinho just had to be one of those guys to get a red card. The first red came for Pedro, who got 2 yellow cards in 1 minute. In the 94th minute, in the 97th minute, Lazio is up 2-1. There's a ball crossed into the box. Lukaku goes for the bicycle kick, and it went about as well as you can expect. Asmoon then ends up with a red. Mancini ends up with a red. But Lazio still move on to the semifinals, winning 1-0 in that matchup. Atalanta also punched their ticket to after beating AC Milan to the semifinal of the Coppa Italia. So we've got two. They're on different sides of the bracket, so they won't be playing each other. Atalanta obviously going to be playing Fiorentina, who punched their ticket on Tuesday. Milan had the majority of the chances early. I mean, AC Milan, they go up 1-0 in the 45th with Lyon, and then in the last minute, Atalanta comes through a minute later and scores right before the half. And I kind of saw nothing really from AC Milan. I was expecting like some sort of fire, some sort of something, but it seems like they went up 1-0 and then kind of just turned off for the rest of the game. Atalanta then gets a penalty in the 56th minute. They convert, and from there, Milan just went stagnant. Atalanta even had the majority of the chances to go up 3-1 instead of AC Milan coming back to tie it. However, Lazio awaits Juve versus Frosinone game, which happens today. Whoever wins that game will play Lazio, and Atalanta is going to be playing Fiorentina. And then my Benfica last night in the Taça of Portugal played against Braga in a wild game. We started losing 1-0, then we scored 2 goals right before the half. I was feeling good, I was feeling confident, and then early in the second half, Braga scored an absolute banger. I started getting a little bit worried, but in the end, we pulled out the result as we always do. So Benfica wins 3-2 against Braga. Braga, obviously the 4th best team in the Portuguese league, so it was a massive game for us as well. So we had Real Madrid beating Atleti. We had Liverpool squeezing it out against Fulham late. We had Lazio 1-0. We had, what else did I just say? We had Atalanta, AC Milan. We had Benfica, Braga. Let's just say I had screens all over the place set up, trying to watch all these games, trying to find all of this action. And then on top of that, we had all the NFL firings. And then on top of that, in the NBA, we're talking about firings in the NFL. Well, how about in the NBA, another guy that's on that Nick Saban, that Bill Belichick level? ERIK Spoelstra signs another 8-year deal for $120 million to keep being the coach of the Miami Heat. He's already been there for 16 years. Now with this contract for another 8, we're going to be looking at 24 years of ERIK Spoelstra being the head coach of the Miami Heat. Again, just another thing, when you think Miami Heat, you think ERIK Spoelstra with that LeBron James, that D-Wade, that Chris Bosh, all of that together. Obviously, Spoelstra's trying to get back up to that level now with Jimmy Butler. He seems to have a great eye for finding talent. It seems like every year they've got one player that nobody knew about that comes on in the playoffs and helps them get to the playoffs or helps them go to the next round. So ERIK Spoelstra, congratulations to him. Another 8-year deal there. Draymond Green was back with the Warriors last night at their game while he was in street clothes. He gets a standing ovation, which was kind of nice from the crowd. He came out afterwards and said, oh, maybe I don't think I deserve the standing ovation. Obviously seems like a lot more humble, but we've seen this before. Draymond Green gets fined, gets some sort of time off, comes back, seems like a different person, super humble. But then his ways always end up creeping back in. He was firing up the boys, which I like to see. He was high-fiving everybody, doing handshakes. But it ultimately would be for nothing as the Warriors lost 141-105 versus the Pelicans. Steph Curry came out after the game and said, hey, if I was the fans, I'd boo us too. I'm also booing us in my own head. So obviously the Warriors going through a little bit of a tough stretch here. They are 17-20, fall to 12th in the West. Let's hope that they can figure it out. A little bit of better news, WEMBY got his first triple-double, and then being that troll that he is, or maybe he wasn't being a troll, he posted him with the game ball in the locker room saying hashtag secured, obviously talking about the Giannis situation. Or maybe he wasn't talking about the Giannis situation, but it surely seems like everybody on the internet thought that he was referring to that Giannis situation. The 76ers lost their 3rd straight game last night, the 2nd without Embiid as they lost in overtime versus the Hawks. And then the Celtics beat the Timberwolves in overtime to keep their unbeaten record at home, which is now 18-0. So obviously massive powerhouse in the NBA, but especially at home. The Boston Celtics have not lost yet this year. Now let's talk about the slate of the day. What do we have today that we should be looking forward to, that we should be watching, that we will be talking about tomorrow? Obviously, Barcelona versus Osasuna, which I already talked about. Semifinal for the Spanish Super Cup. I'm going to take Barcelona there. I think Osasuna maybe could surprise them. The referee for that Barcelona-Osasuna game actually is a cop during the day. So don't expect much leniency in that game. All right? There's no messing around. Sir, please turn around, put your hands behind your back. That's what he's going to say if anybody starts stepping out of line. Then we got Juve versus Frosinone. I don't know if I'm saying this right. I'm probably not. In the quarterfinal of the Coppa Italia. I think this is easily going to be a Juve win. And then they have Lazio, and then they have Atalanta or Fiorentina. I think that Juve is going to take this whole thing, but you never know. In the NBA, we've got the Bucks versus the Celtics. The Bucks looking to snap a 2-game losing streak after Giannis came out and said, listen, everybody needs to be better. The people watching our clothes needs to be better. The coaches need to be better. The players need to be better. The chefs need to be better. Everybody needs to be better. Well, they have lost 2 in a row, and they're looking to snap that losing streak versus the Celtics. Good thing it isn't in Boston, because obviously I just said the Boston Celtics don't lose in Boston. However, I still think that the Boston Celtics will beat the Bucks here tonight. Then we've got the Knicks versus the Mavs. Both teams at 22 wins, so one of them will get to 23. And we've got Brunson going back to Dallas for the first time. Should be interesting to see what Dallas does for him. Luka has been ruled out of the game. And for those 2 reasons right there, I'm going to take the Knicks to win this game. We've got the Lakers versus the Suns, both with 19 wins. Both kind of underperforming this year. The Suns are getting a little bit healthier. They've got Ball now coming back and playing a massive role. Rui Hachimura and Cam Reddish are both questionable for the Lakers. A month ago, these 2 teams faced off, and it was 106 to the Lakers, 103 to the Suns. So obviously a very, very close game, but the Lakers won that one. And while I think today will be close as well, in LA, I'm going to take the Suns. I just like the way that they're playing right now. I think that Ball will shine tonight. We've also got Nets versus Cavs. I'm going to take the Cavs in that one. And then Blazers versus Thunder. And I'm going to take the Thunder in that one. But, hey, we are back on the crossover. What a wild 24 hours. Y'all let me know how you guys feel about all those coaching moves. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about all those games. Let me know in the comments. Let me know something nice. Just comment something nice. Make me feel better. I'm feeling a little sick. Make me feel better. I appreciate you guys for watching this video, man. I know I said I'd be dropping videos every damn day. However, I've been going through a little bit of an adjustment period, and I promise you, try to be better at that. While you're at it, hit the sub button, hit the like button. We're back tomorrow. Peace.